Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, viewers of all ages, I'd like to thank you all for dropping by and giving me your time. I am Erick Daniel Coughlin, and this is another episode of Just My Thoughts. So it's Thursday night, which means we have Thursday night football, which means we have another week in the NFL. That's right, it's week 8, opening night of week 8 in the NFL, which means I have another week full of picks. I have my week 8 picks, and we're going to do that just as soon as we recap for last week, week 7. I went 10-5, ladies and gentlemen. So I took the liberty, because every week I always repeat my numbers. So what I've decided to do is just give you like a recap, my total in the first 7 weeks of the NFL. I am 64-45. 64-45. So I have a winning record and a winning projection. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's break down my week 8 picks of the NFL. Let's go. So tonight we have the Vikings versus the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams. And before we continue to list, I'm just going to break some stuff down. I've been hearing some rumors. I've been reading some feeds. You know, they're trying to say that Matthew Stafford wants to go to the Vikings, or that the Vikings want Matthew Stafford to come to the Vikings. Well, I'm going to say this. The only way Matthew Stafford's coming to the Vikings is just to spank that ass, and I think it happens tonight. I'm going to pick the Rams to win. We got the Packers versus the Jaguars. I'm going to take the Jaguars. Listen, I know the Packers are red hot. Look, I know they're 5-2, and I told you that they're going to be a good team, and they have been a good team, and they are a good team. However, the Jacksonville Jaguars are supposed to be a good team, and for repetitively of the last 4 or 5 years, they've been winning their division and becoming a playoff team. So that being said, they're doing terrible. You know, they're not doing. Their record says they're 2-5. They're fucking reverse of the Green Bay Packers. But they've been beat up. They've had a lot of injuries. They got a lot of health back. They've got like 5 guys come back off of injury. To have 5 people come off of injury, that kind of changes the shape of how you can play and what you can do. Therefore, I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars to beat the Packs this week. Tea, baby. I already told you guys, listen, if you see the red cup, I'm drinking sweet tea. I live in the South. Deal with it. Continuing. We got the Cardinals versus the Dolphins. I'm going to take the Cardinals. We got the Jets versus the Patriots. I'm going to take the Jets. We got the Ravens versus the Browns. I'm going to take the Ravens. We got the Eagles versus the Bengals. I'm going to take the Bengals. We got the Colts versus the Texans. I'm going to take the Texans. We got the Titans versus the Lions. I'm going to take the Lions. We got the Falcons versus the Bucks. I'm going to take the Bucks. We got the Saints versus the Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers. We got the Bills versus the Seahawks. I'm going to take the Bills. We got the Bears versus the Commanders. I'm going to take the Bears. We got the Chiefs versus the Raiders. I'm going to take the Chiefs. We got the Panthers versus the Broncos. I'm going to take the Broncos. We got the Cowboys versus the 49ers. Going to take the 49ers. We got the Giants versus the Steelers, and I'm going to take the Steelers, ladies and gentlemen. That's how... Excuse me. Got caught up on my team. That's how I see week 8 breaking down. So you may be asking yourself, what's my key 5 matchups, right? Because I do that every week. I give you guys 5 key matchups. In week 8, the 5 key matchups of week 8, here we go. The Chicago Bears versus the Washington Commanders. It's going to be a red hot game. We are 4-2. Commanders are 5-2. We are the only team without 5 wins in our division, but we are the only team that's slept through a bye week. So, that being said, we got to play a little bit of catch up, and we're only by 1 game. Matchup number 2, how about the Eagles versus the Bengals? The reason why is because it's about time Joe Burrow get hot. It's about time Jamar Chase pulls his head out of his ass. And it's about time T. Higgins scores like 3 touchdowns in 1 game. So, I'm expecting a lot of that to start happening, and as a matter of fact, I'm expecting it to start happening now. We're in week 8, Bengals. You have no more time to fuck off. You fucked off the first month of the season. Now it's time to play and show everybody who you are, because your division's pretty damn competitive. The Steelers are stealing the show, and I didn't see that happening. The Ravens are doing what the Ravens always do, and that's win, win, win. It's time for you guys to start winning. And so that's why it's on the must-see TV of my eyes and my matchup number 2, Eagles versus Bengals. And the Eagles, no, I mean, go out there and you beat them. You can say you beat a pretty good team. I mean, I don't think the Eagles are going to make the playoffs, but I do think that they're pretty good. The Bills versus the Seahawks. The reason why this is a key matchup is, first of all, the Bills are red hot. Second of all, the Seahawks are red hot. I thought the 49ers were running away with their division. I thought the Seahawks would be in the hunt. Looks like the Seahawks are trying to compete and win that division. It looks like Geno Smith is the man. DK Metcalf is having the season of his lifetime. That's going to be an electric game. The Bills versus the Seahawks are probably going to be pound for pound the best game of the week. And that's just in my opinion. I think big heavy hitters like Geno and Allen, Josh Allen, Geno Smith, that's going to be huge. Metcalf and the Kenneth Walker guy who's taking the league by storm. It's just going to be great. It's going to be great. We got the Cardinals versus the Dolphins. And the reason why I think this is an interesting matchup is, again, I read something, and I don't know where all these headlines come from and why I get so many headlines in my feeds. But I read a headline that stated, Kyler Murray to Dolphins, ? Now it's clear to be seen by the naked eye. The Miami Dolphins need a starting quarterback. It's clear to the naked eye. Tua Tagovailoa cannot play in the NFL. It's clear to the naked eye. Miami Dolphins potentially would be a good team if they had somebody behind center. Now, Kyler Murray has done everything he can to kind of right the ship with Arizona, and they're starting to look pretty good. So I'm not even going to say that Kyler Murray is available for that trade. I'm just saying Miami is definitely in the market for a quarterback, and it's about damn time. And I do think that the Arizona Cardinals can go out there and beat them and spank them. And I think that they got a pretty good little defense out there in Miami. But I also think they got more playmakers than they got, quarterback talent. And I think that's a problem. I think that's a problem with a few teams in the NFL that their stars are not quarterbacks. And I think it's starting to show. And matchup number 5. The Giants versus the Steelers. The reason why this is on my list is because I thought the Steelers were going to suck, and they don't. They're 5-2. I also thought that Daniel Jones would pull his head out of his ass and show everybody he's a starting quarterback. He has not. He fucking sucks. And the whole Russell Wilson thing, let's be honest. I legitimately thought that switching out your quarterback a quarter way through the season was really going to, confuse your team and, set you back and not work, but listen, I watched last Thursday night, and that shit looked good. It worked. It worked too good. Talk about a second half shutout. They beat the Jets last Thursday night. They beat them 37-15. The Jets hardly picked up a first down in the second half. How much sports I watch, it makes me crazy. Because listen, last night I watched the Chicago Bulls game. Tuesday night I watched Chicago Blackhawks game. Sunday, I'll be watching the Chicago Bears game. Tomorrow night, I'll be watching the Chicago Blackhawks game. Saturday, I plan to watch the Chicago Bulls game. I never stop, ladies and gentlemen, which is why I am ideal to get sports feed information. Get it from Mr. C. Nobody watch more sports than me. I'm Mr. C. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to rerun these picks, and we're going to call it a night. Here we go. Winners of Week 8. Rams, Jaguars, Cardinals, Jets, Ravens, Bengals, Texans, Lions, Bucks, Chargers, Bills, Bears, Chiefs, Broncos, 49ers, Steelers. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you heard and you enjoyed what you see, always feel free to cash at me, Erick Daniel Coughlin, #Coughlin Pride. Have a nice day.